Hey guys, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Roll and Lock A-Series tonneau cover on this 2021 Ford F-150. This cover has the XT rails, but it's the same install for the regular rails, and it's also the same install for the M-Series. For this installation, I'll be using the Allen wrench included in our kit, a Phillips head screwdriver, a ratchet with an extension, and a 7/16 socket. Now make sure you're subscribed to our channel for all our latest content. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is place your canister assembly in the bed of the truck all the way up against the bulkhead. Make sure it's centered side to side and pushed all the way up to where it's touching the bulkhead. Next, we can go ahead and remove our canister cover. That's just going to come right off from the top. Once we have our canister cover off, we're also going to unlatch the cover. Just turn that and the cover will want to kind of pull forward a little bit. Make sure that cover does not go into the canister though. It's going to kind of hook on the front of the canister cover. All right, next we're going to install our rails. Everything I do on the passenger side over here will also be doing on the driver's side. Now, we've got a bed rug liner in this, so I've already got it kind of pulled down and out of the way. What we're going to do, this is towards the tailgate, we're going to access this hole in the bed of the truck first. We've got a bracket, it's an L-shaped bracket. On one side of it, it says up. That obviously is going to go up. It's going to line up to that hole. Now, in our kit, we're also going to have a bolt with a washer. It's going to feed through this portion of the bracket. And then we've got an aluminum plate that bolt is going to thread into. So we're going to loosely thread that bolt into the plate. Once that's kind of connected, we're going to take that plate and slide the plate down into the hole. Next, what we want to do is kind of pull on the bracket to seat that plate against the backside of the bed on the inside. This just keeps it from spinning around while we tighten it down. Now I'm going to use a 7/16 socket with an extension just to give myself a little bit more to grab a hold of. And just by hand, I'm just going to go ahead and start turning that. And that's going to start drawing that bracket to the bed cap. This is just the easiest way to do it because there is some thread locking material on that bolt. So just trying to tighten it down without holding this makes it a little challenging, so just kind of hold it out while you tighten it down. That's the best way to do it. And once we get into place, just get it nice and snug. Just kind of finger tight for right now. That way we can still kind of adjust it, manipulate it around. And next we can go ahead and set the rail on top. All right, now this is our passenger side rail. What you're going to notice, you've got the big channels on this side. The cover slides back and forth in. Up at the front that goes up towards the bulkhead, you've got this part that kind of angles down a little bit. You've also got the metal shiny side. This all goes towards the bulkhead. Now on the inside, this portion of the rail needs to rest on top of the bed cap. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and set the rail on top of the bed cap, and we're going to go ahead and slide it forward towards the canister. All right, now what you're going to notice on the end of the rail, we've got a little bit of a notch that's right here. This portion of the canister needs to slide into that notch. Also make sure your seal is fitting outside of the rail, not tucked underneath. So we're just going to go ahead and line that up. Once that's lined up, go ahead and slide the rail forward. The cover is going to actually start moving into the channel on the rail. As you slide it forward, make sure you grab your seal, kind of pull it off to the side, push it all the way forward. Then we can take and tuck the edge of that seal back inside. Now let's go ahead and affix the rail to the canister. Okay, now where the rail meets the canister, we're going to see that there's a little hole that goes through the rail and also through the part that comes out of the canister. In order to get that hole to line up, you may need to lift up on the canister a little bit. We're going to have a machine screw out of our kit that's got a Phillips head end. That's going to run through that hole. When it gets through the hole, we're also going to use our flag nut on the opposite side to run the machine screw through and hold it in place. All right, once you have the threads locked into the flag nut, you can go ahead and let go of that, and it's just going to rotate as you turn the screwdriver, and then go ahead and tighten it down. All right, here we are back at the tailgate portion again. What we're going to do is we're going to push down on the rail, and that's going to seat that clamp into place. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down with our 7/16. Let's get it nice and snug. Next, we can take out of our kit, we've got some shorter Allen head bolts with a lock washer. We're going to go up through and thread it into that clamp. Now the only way this is going to line up is if the rail is forward enough to line up with the back of the tailgate. All right, once we've got that in there, just get it finger tight for right now. All right, now we're going to go ahead and attach our clamp halves to the middle and front clamp locations. This is our clamp half that is lower. We're going to go ahead and slide that up into place. We've got our longer Allen head bolts with lock washers going to go up through and then thread into that. Also put that in just finger tight for right now. We're going to do this for the front clamp location and the center and front clamp locations on the opposite side as well. All right, next what we want to do is make sure our rails are parallel to each other and also centered in the bed of the truck. So that's going to be 59¼ inches from one rail to the other on the inside. Now, a quick way of doing that, you can actually take the canister cover out of your kit. And on the inside, you're going to have a couple of places where there are some notches cut out. That is your spacing. So you can take and set that canister cover onto the rails. And then once you move the rails away from each other to that spacing, just get them centered, and then we can go ahead and tighten down the clamps on each side using our provided Allen wrench. All right, now that we have our rear clamps tightened down, we can use our provided Allen head wrench to tighten down first our front clamps, then our center clamps. Now back up here to the canister, we're going to go ahead and go to the latch, turn that latch to the 7 o'clock position. We're going to go ahead and undo the wing nut on the strap. It holds the strap to the canister itself. Pull off the bag, and now we can go ahead and grab the cover and pull it all the way to the tailgate. All right, now we got the blanket pulled all the way back to the tailgate. We're going to go ahead and put the canister lid on top of the canister. Now inside that lid, there's a little peg that's going to line up with this right here. Once that lines up, it'll drop down. Then we need to line up this hole back here, so we slide the canister back and line it up to the threaded hole. In our kit, we're going to have a little black machine screw with a Phillips head and also a little rubber washer. We're going to put those together, run them into that hole, and tighten it down with a Phillips head screwdriver. Do the same on the opposite side. Now we're going to go ahead and turn our attention back to the canister guard. This is the part that covers the front side of the canister to protect that from any kind of impacts. Now, this is also the same piece we use to center the rails, but I've already peeled off the protective coating. That's the reason why it's all now just black. All right, so here we have a round hole, here we have an oval hole. The round hole is going to go to the top side of the canister, the oval hole to the bottom. Now in our kit, we're also going to have some Phillips head machine screws along with some rubber isolator washers. Now those washers will kind of fit nice and snug on the machine screws. So what we have to do is run the machine screw through the canister guard and then the isolator over top of the machine screw. So what we're going to do is line that up, and it's kind of hard to just kind of push it onto it. So just take a Phillips head screwdriver and get it nice and snug. Do the same thing on the bottom side and then also on the two on the opposite side of the canister guard. Okay, so here are our two threaded mounts on the driver's side of the canister. We're going to go ahead and line up our machine screws to those and tighten them down with a Phillips head screwdriver. Do that on both sides. All right, now to install the drain tubes, I've already gone ahead and made a hole through the bed rug going out the bed of the truck. We're going to go ahead and fit the drain tube out through there and then run the drain tube up to the spout and fit it onto that spout. This takes a little bit of pressure. And do that on both sides. All right, now in your kit, you're also going to have some 303 aerospace lubricant and protectant. Now that is to lubricate the rails. The way you're going to do that is just take a clean microfiber cloth and squirt some into that clean microfiber. Once you've got that saturated, go inside the rail and wipe down the seals on the top and the bottom. Do that on both sides of the truck. Well, that concludes the installation. If you found this video helpful, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the product, check the link in the description below. And as always, if you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.